Hello and welcome back, and today I'm going to be talking about Arcane Season 2 and giving my overall thoughts on this show. And I'm quite shocked to be talking about this season because I really didn't like Season 1. I thought Season 1 was just okay. I thought the first 3 episodes were good, then they killed off the only character I cared about and I just didn't care. But then you get Season 2 and I'm shocked about how good this was. I do see some people saying Season 2 is not as good as Season 1 because there are issues like the story was clearly meant to be 3 seasons. I agree. And there are heavy pacing issues. I agree. Definitely in the back half of this season, the story does really feel like it's just rushing to get to the end. And a lot of things happen off screen. And characters just disappear for episodes upon end. Like Echo, I think in Season 2, he's only in 3 episodes. Episode 3, Episode 7, and Episode 9. That's it. However, what we did get, even though there are definite issues, is a very strong story, and the characters they really focused on are really great. This season got me to care about characters which I just didn't care about in Season 1. I didn't care about Victor, I didn't care about Jinx, I didn't care about basically all the cast. But this season just got me invested in this world. It did something that Season 1 really didn't. And I'm really shocked about how good this season played out, even though it was stunted with what it had to do. It had to tell 2 seasons worth of story in only 9 episodes. They could have extended its season a little, but no, they had 9 episodes, and I'm shocked and amazed at the story they were able to tell, and also how they did it. I really enjoyed the very stylized and almost artistic way they went about telling the story. And I know some people have also complained that there's way too many music moments where they just play music and the characters are doing something. But it works. It's a very interesting way to tell a story and it has a great soundtrack which definitely helps these scenes. It's a very emotional show and it really does pull you in. I definitely think Episode 3 was the moment where I was like, oh, I'm actually interested in the story with what's going on down in the Undercity with Jinx, Caitlyn, and Vi, and especially what's going on with Hextech, and the reveal that Hextech is actually poisoning the world, and everything to do with Victor and Jace. They were my favourite characters in this season. I really enjoyed Victor and Jace, and them going from allies to enemies to friends again. Very interesting character arcs, and all the characters are absolutely great. I can't believe how drastic my opinion changed between Season 1 and Season 2. Season 1, I didn't care about any of these characters. Season 2, I really like all these characters, and you end up caring about them, especially in the back half. I do have to mention that I really like the 3 episode arcs, where you have 3 episodes for Act 1, 3 episodes for Act 2, 3 episodes for Act 3. It really works, because you have an establishing episode, you have an episode building up and everything's starting to go down, and then you have the stuff hits the fan episode. It's a very good way to tell the story, and keeps everything moving at a good pace. This episode doesn't really have any filler, and I think the most fillery episode is Episode 7, but that's my favourite episode, because that's the episode where we find out what Jace is up to, and he's not actually the villain, which is what Episode 6 leaves you off thinking, and Victor's actually the villain, so it reframes all of Episode 6 and Act 2, and everything with Echo in this other universe, or the Happy Timeline. Absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed that, and that's the episode where I was like, Echo's really the true hero. It's a shame that he's barely in this show, and the more you hear about it, the more you were like, okay, so they had more scenes of Echo, but they just cut it out for time, and it's really annoying because it does ruin it, because all these characters you actually get to really like, they get pushed to the side, so they can really focus on, okay, we need to have a really tight story. It is about Hextech being this thing that's going to end the world, and everyone has to come together at the end of the season. But a lot of that coming together happens off screen, or it just happens between acts, because there's a lot of time jumps. And then you get the final episode, where my biggest issue with the final episode is that Victor becomes a villain suddenly. It is not explained very well why he becomes a villain, because in Episode 6 he's trying to help everybody, and that's just the complete opposite to what he ends up doing in Episode 9. It just makes no sense and feels like there was meant to be 11 episodes, and one too many scenes from the very important characters like Victor and Echo are just cut, and we get one too many scenes, in my opinion, with characters like Caitlyn, Jinx, and Vi. So maybe they should have balanced out the screen time a little more, because definitely some characters are getting way too much screen time, and it does leave the story and other aspects having to rush through things just for us to get to the ending where it's everyone fighting in Piltover. You even, apparently, there was a bunch of scenes cut from the final episode where Echo and Jinx were making everything to go to the battle, and then making their armor and building everyone up to go to the battle. Apparently that was all cut just for them to appear at the end with everything happening off screen. It really does suck, because they could have done something a bit more, but I understand that Netflix did really crank down on them, and they really was put between a rock and a hard place. But what we got is still great, and I'd have to give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's just a really, really good season, and I would definitely recommend this show and this season to other people. It is very enjoyable, and I would be interested to find someone who didn't like season 2 from someone who hated or thought season 1 was meh, and I was like, okay, and moved on with my life and never thought about it, and then watched season 2 and had the complete opposite effect. It definitely maybe is worth a watch, but please tell me down below, have you seen this? Have you not? Are you going to give it a try? This is it for me today, so thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later.